Welcome back to the Nightlife Podcast, Season 3, Episode 8. This is the 58th episode overall, believe it or not, guys. And today we're going to change things a bit, and we're going to get into technology, but in a different way that we've been talking in the past few episodes, actually, for this season. And I want to welcome my guest today, all-time friend, Nacho Garcia.
Julio, thank you so much, and it's my pleasure to be here in your program.
Awesome.
Okay?
Great to have you. And Juan Ardila, his partner, from Pinnacle. Pinnacle, if you guys don't know Pinnacle, you will after this episode, but I'm sure you do already. So remember, before we get into it, you can get the book on Amazon. You find me at the Nightlife Entrepreneur on Instagram, and you find all other episodes on nightlifepodcast.com. All right, guys, so do you guys have any handles you guys would want to give, like for a Pinnacle Instagram or anything like that?
Yes, we have our social media accounts and at Pinnacle HS.
Okay, so at Pinnacle HS. We're going to put it down here anyway. So
correct. So at Pinnacle HS, you got Instagram, Facebook, and pretty much we keep updated with all the latest and greatest that we're doing and through that social media accounts.
Okay. All right, so guys, so Pinnacle, I actually worked with Pinnacle a long time ago. I was telling them it was probably like 15 years ago. I don't recall like maybe the last time that I actually was working with Pinnacle besides here at Barseco, that they use Pinnacle and Segafredo as a brand and all of their venues, the whole group. So I ran into Nacho a couple of days ago, and Nacho was offering the Pinnacle service to one of the new clubs in the area. And one of the things that I always see when by the way, Pinnacle is a POS solution system, which from what they tell me, it's a lot more than that nowadays, which we'll dig in. But basically, Nacho was having a meeting and showing the system, and the club was looking into changing the one they had. They had just opened, not even a month ago, but they were already looking to change what they had, because sometimes you look for the cheapest option, sometimes you look for what somebody that you know recommended, and sometimes you just, you Google or look at on a YouTube video and you figure out that's what I want because I think that has all the solutions that I need. But then when you actually get to work with it, you realize that your staff doesn't like it, that your manager may not like it. So many different things,
Correct.
So I did see that you guys were talking, and that's what brought us together to have this conversation today, because I want to be also instructed and thought a little more about what's going on with the technology in general, and what is it that makes Pinnacle special, if you guys think that it is.
That's correct. So, yes, it's a lot to cover, and I thank you first of all for inviting us to this program, and we're very excited about it. Technology has changed so much in the last few years in the hospitality industry, and it's impacting every aspect of the business. Many years ago, we only, looking at a cash register with a touch screen just to collect print the check, send the order to the kitchen, cash out at the end of the day, and then get my numbers. Yeah, that's fine. But now, things have evolved even more.
Yeah, we probably won't even call it cash out at some point, because it won't be cash.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Over 95% of the transactions are now done through credit cards.
Crazy.
And one of the things that, especially the nightlife environment, is affected is that not only us know that's 95%, also the hackers around the world know that the credit card transactions are the most common way of payments. So what's been happening in a few years is that the hackers are penetrating the systems in the restaurants and bars, and they started collecting the credit card information from the merchants and from the patrons, and then we're duplicating credit cards overseas and doing fraudulent transactions. Right. So that changed the industry. And you probably noticed the last 2-3 years, most of the businesses have switched into the chip cards, the credit cards with the chip.
Right.
Because that's the best way that we have right now to protect the credit card information.
Correct.
But it's one piece of it. The other piece is the technology. The system that you need to have in place has to be completely locked down and encrypted. Okay. So that's one of the things that Pinnacle has, is complete protected solution to keep the security of the data of the bar and the restaurant. And the nightlife is the first one. One of the other things that's been happening in the industry, especially in the bars, is that when you swipe a card, the bar is not protected against a chargeback.
Okay.
So we have something called that appear in
which is very common in Miami, by the way.
Yes. It's called the reason it's called is friendly fraud.
Okay.
Friendly fraud is that people know that if you see the bar swiping the card instead of digging it into a chip reader, they know that you can call the credit card company and charge back. Say, I wasn't there. And the bar is going to lose the transaction if it was swiped.
Right.
That's why 99% of our customers already switched to the chip reader system, because that's the only way they're protected against that fraud.
Right.
So that's very important for the bar owners to make sure they have a system that is reliable on a credit card, because there's a lot of transactions happening, and usually most of the time high tickets. You can have a table, $500, $1,000 a night or something. And
okay, so question: is that something that all other POS systems have nowadays, or is this something that only a few of them do, or is this something that only Pinnacle does?
No, it's. A few years ago,
And by the way, we are out on the street right now, guys. So that's where you hear motorcycles and planes and whatever's going on out there.
Well, it's a good question. A couple of years ago, only a few of us had that solution. Nowadays, it's kind of mandatory. You should have it.
Right.
Now, the problem or the situation is there's a lot of places with old systems that they acquired, they purchased 10 years ago or so, and they haven't updated, and they need to update to get that technology. So we'll still see a lot of places that they don't have it.
So to make this safe, basically, you have to change the hardware.
And the software has to be upgraded to the latest versions.
Correct.
So
let me ask you a quick numbers question. About how much money would somebody need if, let's say, they're opening a new venue, a new bar, and they have nothing, no POS, no point of. By the way, if you don't understand, it's a point of sale system. If you don't call it a POS. So let's say it's a venue that needs, maybe they have one bar and they have 3-4 waitresses that come around. It's a small operation, but they're going to use a POS anyway. What would you recommend for somebody that's small? And if they're gonna do it with Pinnacle, what kind of investment are we talking about for something like this?
Yeah. Okay, basically, Julio, our investments begins as low and including the implementation. Basically, our proposal is divided in three: is the software, the hardware, and the implementation. Okay. Part of the implementation is the training for the personnel. Installation. Okay, training for managers, independent. Okay, because we don't want to merge together when we do the training. We would love to do the managers and the owners.
So the training for management is different from the training for the staff?
Yes.
Because they see kind of like a back house.
Correct.
Security features also.
Okay, that's something we should talk about also afterwards.
Also, part of the implementation, which is something very important to the owner, is our coverage for the live. We call the live coverage, basically. That means that the first day that we start running the system, we're going to be there the whole day. In case something happens, they have a backup. Because we understand, like, the day of the training, everybody understands.
Correct.
But the lifetime, at the last moment, maybe they forget too many things, and also they want to do change that they forget to do a week before. So we're there to do the change, to add products, things like that.
Got it.
So regarding about the price, we begin, let's say, between 1 to 3 terminals, something around 8,000, 15,000 average. So the price change a lot too, because 5-10 years before, we're talking about $20,000, $30,000 for a small venue. So that's basically the prices. We are very, very compatible with the industry at this time. I don't want to say we are the lowest, I don't want to say we are the highest, but we are very compatible and with the value that we offer to the customer besides price.
Right. So I just wanted those bar owners, those people that want to start their new thing, that are always listening here, that they understand, because sometimes they do get afraid, or they think, no, I don't have 50 grand to spend on new POS system or whatever. But you can start small. What about if you start with something like that, but then you want to add on?
Yeah, let me add something to what Nacho was saying. What he said is the investment if you purchase the equipment.
Exactly, that's it.
So you gotta, put your money out of pocket, but that's not the way normally now.
It's not a necessity. You don't do it that way all the time.
Correct. So what is happening now is that the point of sale companies are now acquired by credit card processors.
Okay.
So in our case, the same way. POS is now part of a large credit card processor.
Okay.
So they're giving us incentives to lower that investment in exchange of the service of the credit cards.
Got it.
So now it's very, very affordable for a customer. For instance, at a 3-terminal system, they can get it down for $600 down and then pay like $300 a month.
Got it.
With everything covered. So the challenge for a new owner that's going to open a bar or a restaurant is that initial capital.
Right.
They need to invest the capital in the renovations, in the kitchen equipment,
in the marketing,
in the marketing, and the initial bar inventory.
Right.
So you don't really want to use that capital to purchase your technology.
Right.
The business should be able to pay for the technology itself.
It's actually one of the reasons they make the wrong decision as to getting something cheaper, which they feel, oh, whatever, this works. I get a cash register
Right.
and I have one person doing this part. No, you want to make sure you do everything the right way.
Correct.
Tell me a little more about the different things that the system can do, apart from the obvious and the usual of that has to do with selling and inventory and
Right.
The regular that everybody knows that it's always been done. What are the new features, new things that are included in the systems?
Great question. Nowadays we're saying that we provide a service platform that, by the way, comes with a POS system.
Right.
So that's what's happening. What I mean by that is that, for instance, now it's very popular to take orders at the table, take the payment in front of the customer.
Got it.
That saves a lot of time and efficiency. Just pay it this way. Right now, what happens is you are in a table, you call for your check. So they're gonna walk away, they print the check, they bring the paper here. Now you're gonna open your wallet, put the credit card, and need to take it, process it there, come back with another ticket, you need to sign it, you need to put the tip, then you take it back and finalize the transaction.
Right, it's a long system.
That's the traditional system, right?
Waste of paper.
Correct. Now, we got these tools, like you basically take the check to the table, and then select the payment right here, and I have the chip reader, all the transactions go here, I capture the tip right here, they don't have to put the tip there, customer selects, I can use Apple Pay, I can use the chip reader,
and the swipe.
and here's the difference. You now people don't like paper anymore. So send me the receipt via email. So we send the receipt via email, or we can print it here if they wanted to, but typically you want the receipt via email.
Right. Can you text too, or is?
Yeah, text is coming up, but okay. Text is coming.
Got it.
But with the email, and also at the end, you get a little survey.
That's something you guys showed me before, and I really think it's very important.
Correct. So with the survey, let's say I didn't like the experience, I put it 3 stars, and then hit continue. The transaction is closed. It's already processing the system, so I don't have to go back to the system and do anything there.
Right.
So the server time is cut in more than half.
Right.
Right. Now, the other thing is the review is sent via text to the manager. It says 3 stars were left on table 5. So before the customer hits the street and goes to Yelp and put a bad
So imagine if you're the GM of a venue, the amount of things that you could do with that information. Before the client leaves, he's leaving a review of his service. You see it right away on your phone. You don't like it because he didn't like whatever it was. You go find that client because it tells you what table they were at.
Right.
So you go find them before they leave, and you get to offer them something. Make sure to get back to them before they leave. That's very impressive and very, very important.
Because now you're in this industry helping with the marketing. The reputation is the top.
Oh, it is.
People now go to their phones and they see, let me see this place, how the review is. A bad review, you don't go in.
Yeah. I mean, and if the person is willing to put those 3 stars there, they're also willing to go to Yelp and do the bad review over there.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So they're this close to actually going where people are looking nowadays. The new generation, before they go out, they check out all the reviews.
Exactly.
That's the reality of where we're at nowadays. I mean, and this is very real because it's not like a fake review or whatever. I mean, it's great. It's a good.
Right.
Good
the other
thing
is that with this payment platform, we are capturing the data of the customer in our marketing platform.
Okay.
So now you can use the customer base that you visit in your place, and then you can do campaigns offering them, a new promotion that's coming up,
right.
a new, live concert I have here.
Do the customers need to approve anything before you send them any information?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, when you go here, they get the email from the receipt, they can opt out if they want to.
Got it.
They can be opt out as
So
well.
they have an option to opt out.
Correct.
Just make sure you're doing the marketing the legal way.
The legal way, correct. The other thing is that with the marketing platform that comes with the payment system is there is a reputation management piece, so you can monitor your social media accounts and see when people post reviews or comments about your business. You can also monitor.
That's on the POS.
Yes.
Is that part of the back of house?
It's part of our cloud back office platform together with the payment platform.
That's nice. All right, so you get to see all the social media and what people are posting about your social media and that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Or you can track hashtags. So you wanna, let's say you have Super Bowl weekend, and then you can put a hashtag, and then you can monitor everybody what's doing on that Super Bowl weekend, and then kind of.
Can you use that same platform to post for the restaurant?
So so you can link your social media accounts and then program your postings. So this is the posting for next Monday, the posting for next week, and you can program it ahead of time, and then it will do it for you on all platforms.
So it's a lot more than a POS.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
It's a business platform with a point of sale system.
Right.
And that's one of the ways that we save money to the owner of the restaurant, because if I want to do my social media, I need to hire a marketing company or something, whereas I can hire someone to do that one in my own restaurant with my own platform.
Correct.
So that's an awesome solution.
Yeah, it's a big plus.
Yes,
for sure.
Correct.
I like that. Let me ask you something that a lot of people don't like to answer. But what would you think is something that Pinnacle needs to work on? The one thing that maybe we're not the best at this right now, but it's something that you guys are working on, or and if you don't have any, well, but I'm just wondering, as a POS system or as a complete platform, because I know you're saying, for example, the fact that it doesn't have the text, it just has the email. I know text is growing a lot more currently, and the email open rate is going way down currently. And when you look at the marketing, it's a huge difference. But you just told me that you're implementing the texting, so the texting is going to be there. So I'm wondering, a long time ago, I can tell you from experience, 15 years back, in Key Biscayne, we had a venue. We were there for like 13 years, and we used Pinnacle at some point. And there was a point that it was complicated to get to the customer service.
Correct.
So I don't know where you guys are at with customer service, besides the fact that I know we have Nacho very close by.
Correct.
But for anybody that's listening anywhere else.
Right.
That's a great question. And well, there is no company in the world that is perfect. Okay, all companies are combined with human beings, right?
Right.
And then you have good and bad people all the time. You have good bartenders, good and bad servers, right? And that all the time affect your system. But the most important thing is your leadership. And we are fortunate that the leaders of our company that have been in business for over 30 years have always been on top of any issue that the company is running into. We have at times in our history in this last 30 years that our help desk was slow. Talking about 15, 18 years ago. It was not managed properly, and our customers getting complaints about how fast we can respond. Our leadership, our ownership, they made a big investment on redoing the way we do the help desk.
Okay.
And I can tell you, I'm very proud that one of the best services that we have is the help desk, 24/7, with bilingual employees as well. But the most important thing is that we separate two different situations: emergencies versus regular calls.
Got it.
So regular call is someone is calling. I have a question on a report.
Right.
I have a question on how to change this. No, that's okay. That's a different priority.
Right.
Now, no, my system is down.
Right.
I can't print a check. I can't process credit card. That's an emergency. So when they call us, we have a specific button for emergencies.
Right.
And we have cut down the time for taking the call to under 20 seconds.
Right. Because usually, guys, when the system is down, it's usually 2 a.m.
Right.
when you have 40 clients that want to close their tab.
Right.
And everybody's standing there pissed off because they've been waiting and they can't solve the issue.
Right.
That I'm not talking about Pinnacle. I'm talking about everybody.
Yeah.
That it usually happens at the worst time.
Correct.
So what is the solution usually? Like what? Normally, when a system is down, how do they solve that issue? Does somebody have to come to the venue? Is that done remotely?
Yeah, that's a great question. 99% of the times, the issues like that are software related or operationally related, not hardware broken. Hardware is at least the one we provide is very reliable. So for a computer to break, like it's completely blown out, it's kind of rare. That's not very common.
Right.
What's common is someone made, pushed the wrong button and made a mistake, or, something happened with the software that needs to be, credit card processing is not connecting, something like that. So everything is done remotely. So they call in, they put emergency button, 20 seconds. Okay, what's the problem? We have staff that connect remotely to the system. They can see in the screen directly what they're doing. They can fix it. You're good to go. We tried. Of course, there are different situations that maybe take a little longer to solve than others, but we respond immediately. Now, if let's say there is a hardware problem and there is something that we can show here, let's say the bar terminal is completely blown out, it's gone.
Right.
I mean, electricity came, lighting, store, whatever. So we are able to dispatch a van same day.
Yeah.
Less than 4 hours. We're gonna have a technician here with a replacement unit. The same day. So that's unique. Not many companies are able to do that in this market.
Right. And I can tell you that it's important. It's something that happens. It doesn't happen often, maybe, that you're going to lose an equipment.
I have this app open.
Okay.
That's something that the customer receives too. Basically, this is our customer support 24/7.
Got it.
And just to give you an example, for example, here, when the customer press to call, is an emergency solution.
Got it.
So when the customer press here the button, this one go immediately, what just one explained.
Right.
They jump basically the other calls because it's an emergency.
It's an emergency, right.
So this is very important. So
What happens if somebody has a non-emergency and they press the right button?
that happens all the time.
That happen a lot.
Right, that's
And
why
what they do is, sorry, Mr. Customer, that's not an emergency. You go back to the line.
It's kind of like calling 911.
Yeah.
My cat's in a tree.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we don't send you a bill. We don't send you a bill.
Got it. They do send. Okay. All right, that's good to know. You have a lot of different hardware, or the hardware is pretty much the same thing, like this kind of things, and then what you use here at the bars, or?
Well, we have few options. We try to keep the options simple as possible.
Okay. So there's no different, like, for example, if it's a restaurant versus a bar or a nightclub or maybe a hotel or whatever, it's the same.
It's the same hardware. And the reason behind it is that the software is flexible to adapt to that type of operation with the same hardware. And also for service purposes, it's simpler to have the same type of hardware everywhere, so you can swap and service it quicker.
Question or maybe a tip.
Okay.
Sorry. One of the things that we always run into, looking at it from the marketing side, is a compatibility between the POS and the reservations.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, what do you guys do in regards to reservation? Because that's one thing that we're always looking for, trying to figure out if it's compatible with maybe like an
open table or
something like open table or something like. There's different things like in the nightlife. There's like here in Miami, a lot of people use Night Pro, for example. Or there's different ones, but 7 rooms, whatever. So it's an app where people actually do their reservations for the venue. They already know where things are. Whatever. So I've seen that some of the POS companies are actually adding that flexibility of being able to interact one with the other. So currently, what do you guys do when it comes to reservations?
Okay, yeah, a couple of things. We've been integrating with OpenTable for many years.
Right.
It was one of the first that they get integration. And the integration is quite simple. They handle the floor plan on their system.
Correct.
So what they do is, online, they are checking the status of each table, that we handle the tables that are being served. So we send them the status. So this one is just an appetizers. This one is on the entrance. This one is just print the check. This one is just pay the check. So they update their status. So the hostess, they know exactly what table is going to become available, so they can manage that on the reservation system. Now, lately, the last few years, now we have an open API. You know, API is an application interface. So any system really can talk to us now. So we have integration with 7 Rooms and many others that are coming in. They're able to read the status of the tables. But that's what basically a reservation integration works.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
No, that's good. As long as there is that live information, that they know where, like the reality of what's going on inside. Because a lot of times you make some reservations, you have everything set up as reserved, but half the people already left, and those tables look like they're already being sat or whatever. There's no, we have the space. All right, that's super cool, man.
Something very important that I want to touch, Juan, if you can explain, is the hybrid. We are a hybrid software, which is and we would love to explain to you the difference between the cloud and the difference that we can do in order to the restaurant can run 100%.
Okay.
So if you can explain.
Yeah, there is a boom about the cloud.
Right.
Everything is in the cloud, and that also is affecting the hospitality. Okay, so there's coming a lot of systems now that are saying we're cloud. There are 2 things about that. Nothing wrong with it. It's just you have to be careful why you do that. Right. First of all, when you say cloud, we were talking about that the other day in a meeting. Cloud doesn't exist. It's someone else's computer.
Right.
That's the reality.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's out there in space.
Exactly.
No, you're connected to someone else's computer. That's
There's
the
an actual server somewhere.
Correct. So what is your data? It's not yours.
Right.
So all your transactions, everything you're doing in your business is somewhere else server.
Right.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, in a restaurant, especially in this city, the internet connectivity is not 100% reliable. So sometimes in the middle of the service, Friday night, Saturday night, the internet goes down.
Right.
Yep. So then some systems tell you, I'm going to offline mode. What is offline mode? It's a limited service, a limited functionality. So you cannot run all your restaurant seamless. No, they have some limitations. So you can only open the checks in one terminal, the kitchen video doesn't work, the credit card processing is offline as well, so it's a lot of limitations. The approach, we understand the benefit of the cloud. The cloud, you want to see your reports online on your phone, you get alerts, accounting integration, so that's great. I mean, these things go to the cloud, so that's a lot of benefits. Now, but the operation is the most important thing. So in our technology, we have a hybrid system. So your core database and brain is running in the restaurant.
Okay.
If the internet goes down, nothing happens. Everything stays the same. You go to the only thing that's affected is the credit cards, but you still have it to capture the credit card, and then when the internet is reestablished, all those cards are reprocessed.
Right.
So, but the rest operates the same. And that should be the way, because you don't want your service to be affected because the internet is down. So that's what I want to make the point about 100% cloud or a hybrid system.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Guys, our time has run out.
Okay.
Wow. Believe it or not, it goes really fast when you're talking about what you like, right?
Yeah, I like to say.
So definitely, if you guys are interested, you know it's already where to find them. If you guys are here in Miami, you got to find Nacho.
Yes.
But definitely, it's a system I recommend. I've used it before. I have not been using it lately. Because I'm not on that side currently. But I definitely believe everything I've been hearing about it, and I love the last thing we were talking about is one, but then the whole integration with the social media and what got me the most was that The fact that you get that review right away in the manager's pocket, and he knows how to take care of somebody, because I'm all about customer experience and taking care of everybody.
That's correct.
So guys, thank you one more time for coming.
Thank you, Julio.
It was at Pinnacle HS, and you find me at the Nightlife Entrepreneur on Instagram. You find all the episodes at nightlifepodcast.com. Thanks to LNG for sponsoring, and find the book on Amazon. See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.